Ayo, what is going on? It's your boy X coming at y'all with a brand new video. And as you guys can see, we're here with the power forwards tier list. So if you guys are excited, make sure you guys go down below and smash that like button. We just did the centers one. That'll be linked down in the description down below. And hopefully we can get the small forwards tier list out tomorrow. Gonna have a lot of fun with these and just overall have a great time. We got a lot of the power forwards here. I've included all of the other ones that are primary position power forwards that we've gotten throughout the week, but there really aren't too many, so I apologize. But some of them are, primary small forwards, some of them are centers, so it's a little bit difficult. Like Boogie was in the centers tier list. If you want to see where he ranks, although he is a power forward, you can check it out there. But first off, we have the pink diamond Aaron Gordon, who's actually a pretty decent card if we're being honest, because obviously he evos up to a Galaxy Opal. And if I'm being honest, Aaron Gordon at pink diamond is still a pretty good card, but Aaron Gordon, as soon as he gets up to this Galaxy Opal ranking, I feel like is a whole different monster, just because he gets so many boosts that are just absolutely insane. And I honestly think that it moves him pretty solidly into the B tier, which he's already in. So we're gonna throw him into there. But I think some people don't necessarily like the Aaron Gordon jump shot, but I'm really not too against it, so I'm gonna throw him into B tier. I think he's a really solid card overall, definitely right in the middle, can do a lot of things great, but just isn't absolutely insane to me. Next up, we have the pink diamond leap year Paul George, who kind of fits into the same category for me. Kind of just feels like a very B tier card, just a card that doesn't come off as amazing to me, but still gives me a lot of really good things. And a card that personally I would run at the 3, Paul George at the 4, isn't exactly something that I'm really looking for or really want, so that's also affecting it. I feel like as a small forward, he can still be near A tier, but I think as a power forward, he's definitely B and maybe even C. Anthony Davis, this one still is very easy and is S tier for me, but the problem is with Anthony Davis, we need a boost to make Anthony Davis half quick draw. That's the biggest deal with this Anthony Davis, is he does not have half quick draw, and everybody who has used this Anthony Davis knows his jump shot's good. Like, it's really easy to time, it's really nice, but it's on gold quick draw, which makes it just so slow, and you need that just a little bit of boost forward to really, I think, kill it for him. So please boost up Anthony Davis. Next up, Galaxy Opal Karl Malone. This one is another easy one for me, easy into the S tier. Karl Malone, absolute beast. He can just do everything really well. Trash human being in real life, but his card in 2K is pretty nice, because just overall, like, almost, he's basically just a GOAT card at this point, just with low intangibles. So he's not actually a GOAT card. So low-key, really nice card and great at both positions. Next up, we have Galaxy Opal Meyers Leonard, who is a card that I haven't really been a fan of since the day he came out. Just the defense on the perimeter really is not too great for a center at this point in the year. We have a lot of centers that can really just guard all around. He can't speed boost. He's not too quick. His main benefit is shooting, but he doesn't really have a lot of hot zones, and his jump shot isn't really that great to me, in my opinion. So I think as a power forward, I think he's getting his ass down into D tier. Meyers Leonard is just not a card that really impresses me at this point in the year. Not one that I really want on my team, and sadly, he's going to have to find his way all the way out and down there. Next up, we have another card from the I guess Players Club set, and that is the Galaxy Opal PJ Washington, who's actually a pretty decent card. 6'8", 7'2" wingspan, which is just gorgeous. Again, a bit of a lack of hot zones, but the only ones I really care about are his lack of the ones that like the 3-point line. He's got 2 missing, but he's a great shooter. The defense all around is pretty good. He can speed boost, he can dunk. Post game is really good, but his defensive tendencies are a little bad. But with the Dwyane Wade's release that he does have, it is pretty decent, and some of his dribbling moves are, okay, similar to that of like an Embiid. So I think that, PJ Washington, because he is definitely better at the 4, I feel like I'm leaning towards a B to C tier for him. So I'm going to throw him into B for now. We'll see if I really feel like he's on the same par with everybody right now. I'm going to throw him in the middle. I think he's a very solid card, but not one that I guess I would recommend. Next up, we have Galaxy Opal Thaddeus Young, who is a absolute steal Absolute steal for 5k MT. I picked mine up on my account yesterday for like 5k MT, and he is so good for his price as the D-Wade release. So he's basically what I keep saying, a budget Jerry Lucas. That's what I would attribute him to. When it comes to budgetness, easy as a power forward, small forward, Thaddeus Young is an S tier card. But when it comes to, I think, just being at the power forward in general, I don't think he's on the same tier as a Karl Malone or an Anthony Davis. So I'm going to throw him down to the A tier. To some people, that might be a little bit low. Definitely think he should be S. But I just don't think he's on that same wavelength of a Karl Malone and Anthony Davis. So we're going to throw him down to A tier. Next up, we have Pink Diamond Phil Jackson, a card that dropped when I wasn't home, so I didn't even get to really try him until later on. But a nice 6'8", power forward, small forward, which is really nice. He has a nice 6'11" wingspan as well, and has a jump shot that not too many other players actually have in the game, that being jump shot 85. I think the only other one that has it is Dennis Scott, and it's absolutely gorgeous. The long athlete layup package as well. He's super quick, super nice. I love the defense overall on this Phil Jackson card, and I honestly think he's pretty slept on. I do think he's better as a small forward, but even as a power forward, I honestly would throw him up in it to this A tier. I know Phil Jackson's getting kind of dogged on a little bit, but I still think he's a really good card, and one that I think some people really need to go out and try out, this Phil Jackson card, because he actually is going to surprise you quite a bit. Next up, we have this Dominique Wilkins. I think as a budget player, we're talking A tier, but as a general power forward, definitely is down here into the C tier. He's a really good card, but he just lacks a few things. You know, he has a great wingspan, he's super tall and super nice, can play good defense, can't really shoot the greatest, but has range extender still. He does a lot of things pretty good, but isn't amazing at all of the things that he does do, which can lead it to feeling a little bit lackluster for him. So it's a little bit tough. But next up, we have Galaxy Opal Derek Coleman, one of the only cards that I really haven't been too impressed with from those final Spotlight Sims when going against him and even using him, which is sad because, you know, I love Derek Coleman because I'm a Q's guy. Has some decent inside, you know, contest shot and block shot tendencies. He has a decent shot at set shot 14, which is the same as Robert Parrish, I said Derek Coleman, Antoine Walker, Isaac Bonga, which is actually a pretty good one if we're being honest. But there's just something about Derek Coleman that really hasn't jumped out to me when using him. And it kind of tends me to want to throw him lower on it to the list. I'm thinking probably about B to C tier. You know, I haven't fully made my mind up about where I like him, but I don't think he's very insane. I'm going to throw him down to C tier just because I feel like, you know, somebody like Hakeem Warwick, who is a budget player, can do relatively the same stuff as Derek Coleman can, so we're going to throw him down there. Now, next up, we have Onyeka Okongwu, who is a beautiful card, and the only negative that he really has is the Paul Pierce release, which means you can't shoot from the corner, and I think that makes him a very solid A tier card. When your only really negative is the fact that you can't shoot corner threes, you're looking real pretty to be a top card in 2K, because he has some of the best defense that you'll ever use in the game. Even with that Paul Pierce release not being the great for the corner threes, you can still catch and shoot beautifully with it. As a good post game, good finishing, everything about him is just a great card. Absolutely love this Onyeka Okongwu. Beautiful card. Highly recommend picking him up still. Next up, we have the Galaxy Opal Carlos Boozer, who is a card that I'm never really a fan of. I did a gameplay on him, but the jump shot one surprised me in how good it was when I used Carlos Boozer, but he's still getting his ass down into D tier. Carlos Boozer, he's just not a guy that you want on your team. There's so many better options for you to be picking up, if we're being honest. You know, Paul George, Aaron Gordon, Phil Jackson, even Thaddeus Young, who's significantly cheaper. Go ahead and pick him up instead of this Carlos Boozer. You just don't want him on your team. And the same goes for this Elton Brand. Now, Elton Brand, I think, got a bit of a boost recently so that he could attempt to be a little bit better than he was. Like, he had an evo that boosts his shot 3 up to like a 97. He has, you know, better lateral quickness, better free throw. He even gets some better shooting badges as well, including half range extender inside of gold, which honestly are some pretty big boosts. but he has set shot 13, which is similar to that of like a Hassan Whiteside, Marcus Camby. So it's like a good release, but it's not one that you're like jumping out of your boots because he has it. But I will say, because of the Evo, I think Elton Brand has moved from a D tier card to a C tier card, similar to that of, you know, Hakeem Warwick and Garrett Coleman. Whereas these guys, I feel like they do a lot of things great, but just nothing insane. Elton Brand just barely scratches into doing everything okay. It just doesn't feel negative to me like Meyers Leonard and Carlos Boozer does. Next up, we have Pink Diamond Al Harrington, who I actually love. I think he is a super, super nice card. You can throw him in there as a nice jump shot 55 like a Carmelo Anthony, and can just come in here and do a lot of really things great. I do think he is definitely better as a small forward than he is as a power forward, because I personally use him as my small forward. So I do think as a small forward, he is A, but as a power forward, I think I'm going to throw him down to B tier, sadly, but it's a really, really solid card. Next up, we have the Galaxy Symbol Jerry Lucas, and obviously, if I have the budget version of Jerry Lucas up into A tier, I should probably put Jerry Lucas himself up here into A tier. I don't think that Jerry Lucas is S tier. I don't think he's on par with our Karl Malone or our Anthony Davis by any means, but he's still a really solid card. He can do a lot of things well, and overall, you know, it just doesn't offend me. He doesn't hurt me when using him. So good card overall, for being honest. Next up, we have this Pink Dominant Cliff Robinson. Again, a card that I think plays both positions well. Definitely is really good as a power forward, and I think fits very solidly in the middle tier, into B tier. You know, he can do a lot of things well. This jump shot's pretty decent. It's not the greatest, but it's really easy to time, so you can get some nice greens off of it, and is overall a pretty decent card with some nice defense. Next up, Galaxy Symbol Pascal Siakam. This one, nice and easy, into S tier. Pascal Siakam's been a top 10 power forward since he drops. You personally have to get used to his release and actually like his jump shot in order to fully use him correctly. I'm not the biggest fan of it, but you can still make it work really, really, really well and have some fun with it. Next up is Pink Diamond Dwyane Wade. He's getting, that's a Pink Diamond Dwyane Wade, and he's going into D tier. I understand that for triple threat purposes, this Dwyane Wade is an amazing card, and if you were trying to pick up a card for triple threat that's super cheap and actually does really good things for you, I think this Dwyane Wade as a budget triple threat guy is A to S tier, but as a general power forward, he really just does not give me really anything that I want, and I'm going to have to throw him into D tier because I fear running him in Unlimited. Next up, we have Pink Diamond Shane Battier. Nice and easy into C tier for me. Now, Shane Battier is a bit of a difficult one because he's the definition of a cone. He can shoot the three really good. He can play some really good defense and really can't dribble at all. So, for some people, he can feel like an amazing card because he has that jump shot 40 or Nicholas Batum release. So, off catch can be beautiful. But for me personally, I just don't think of him as a card that I'm going to throw into my power forward and really cheese up with, because I use my power forwards as my cheesers, like, you know, those guys that I want to do everything and score a decent bit, whereas like my center is going to be just a pick and pop guy. The power forward needs to be able to do a bit of everything, and Shane Battier not even be able to move sometimes. That just ain't it for me. Next up, we have a Galaxy Opal Kevin McHale, who is a pretty difficult card for me to rank, just because he has very similar to Dino animations, but like the jump shot and all that sort of stuff, but then his dribbling is significantly worse, and every time I go up against McHale, he's really just a spot up shooter and a pick and pop guy, and I don't think I can put him on par with a Jerry Lucas, a Thaddeus Young, Onyeka Okongwu, because these guys are doing everything amazing, and Kevin McHale just being a pick and pop guy that plays occasional defense just doesn't feel great to me, because with any of these guys, I can put the ball down, a dribble, and just cheese up off screens, all of that sort of stuff. And I feel like with McHale, it just feels a little lackluster, and I can't really do that. So McHale, I'm going to throw into the B tier. Next up, we have Galaxy of Larry Bird. I feel like this is one of the easiest cards to rank. S tier, if we're being honest, probably one of the best power forwards in the game. The best primary position power forward, because the best, I think, power forward in general would be running James Wiseman or Giannis at the 4, but their primary position, center and power forward. Next up, we have the Pink Diamond Danny Manning, another easy one, sitting there nice and pretty in the A tier. I still use him as my backup power forward on my main squad. Absolutely beautiful card. That LaMarcus Aldridge base is just gorgeous, and he can just do so many things well that just blow your socks off. Any budget player needs to have a little bit of Danny Manning in their life, period. Next up, Galaxy Opal Chris Webber, another easy B tier candidate for me. Again, it does a lot of things well and better than most. You know, like with Hakeem Ward, he does a lot of things well, but Chris Webber just does them a little bit better. He can shoot the 3-ball great, good defense, the post game's nice. Dribbling animations aren't the greatest, but his jump shot, pretty nice, pretty cool. So don't hate him too much, but his price is going up a little bit recently, so it's made him a little bit less amazing for me. Next up, we have the Galaxy Opal buzzer beater Antoine Jamison, a card that again doesn't really offend me, but doesn't, you know, throw me in either direction. For some reason, has that LaMarcus Aldridge base, but feels like a worse version of this Danny Manning, so we're going to throw him into the B tier. Along with the other guys that we got here, alongside this beautiful Chris Webber. So next up, we have this Diamond Lafonso Ellis, a card that I personally haven't picked up to use on my team, but is actually a pretty decent card overall. Has jump shot 77, absolutely beautiful. But the one thing that I'm going to say about Lafonso Ellis is, as a power forward, he's not very good. As a small forward, I would say he's definitely a B or an A tier, but as a power forward, I think I'm going to have to throw him into C. He reminds me of like a Andre Iguodala, where he has a pretty decent release, but the fact that he is so small, being like 6'7" or 6'8", he doesn't really give me the vibes that I need as a power forward. Lafonso Ellis can play amazing offense, but on defense, he gets back down to the post a little bit too easy, and for me, it's just not the most fun of times. Next up, we have Galaxy Opal Bob Pettit, who I'm going to throw into the A tier. Just another version of a Danny Manning, things like that. You know, that beautiful LaMarcus Aldridge base, some nice dribbling moves, good defense, and overall, just a really, really solid card. Same it goes for this Amari Stoudemire, who can just do everything beautifully. Has the Amari Stoudemire release, which is just one of the easiest ones to green. Has beautiful dribbling animation, so he's basically a 6'11" dribble god. Can do everything beautiful, and is just overall a really, really solid card that just doesn't get enough love. Next up, we have Galaxy Opal Terry Cummings, who is a card that I've gone really up and down with since he came out, of liking and hating. But he's got jump shot 36, which is the same as like Patrick Beverly, Luol Deng, things like that, which is a bit of a slower one, and a good 7-foot wingspan. He's got some pretty decent animations, good dunking, and tendencies. But overall is a pretty decent card, and for a free guy, definitely not too bad. But I think as time has gone on, I've started leaning him closer to the C tier. I used to be really high on this Terry Cummings, but eventually he's kind of just fell out of my graces. Next up, Galaxy Opal Yi Jiang Liang, who we are throwing into the B tier, because as a Galaxy Opal, this card is beautiful. I think it's this pink diamond. He's kind of fallen to a C tier for me at power forward, but as a small forward, power forward at Opal, he is just beautiful. Gets a bunch of awesome boosts that just make him, I think, a gorgeous little power forward to have on your team. We're going to move these guys down just a little bit right there. And next up, Galaxy Opal Darius Miles, another very solid B tier card for me. I feel like he's missing that next level to kind of push up into A tier. But for me personally, I love the Michael Beasley base. I know a lot of people are very iffy on it. They're not the biggest fan of it. They don't really want to use it. But for me, he's amazing. It's amazing, and I absolutely love it. I think it's one that people are sleeping on a little bit, but definitely got to try out. Next up, Galaxy of Mel Daniels, throwing him up into the A tier. Mel Daniels is absolutely gorgeous, and as a free card is amazing, but the thing about Mel Daniels is he's just missing a little bit. I feel like if Mel Daniels could play the 3, this card would be absolutely gorgeous. But I think the thing with Mel Daniels is the fact that not too many people really have him, so not many people can really rank him correctly. But he's 6'9", has a 7'11" wingspan, which is the same as like Dino Raja. Can shoot the 3-ball pretty great with his jump shot 81, which is one of the better jump shots, the Walt Frazier jump shot, and can just do everything really well. So I know some people don't really have him, so they can't rank him too amazingly, but is a super solid card. Next up, we have the Pink Diamond Jeff Green, who I think, honestly, is a really good card, but he hasn't shown me anything too amazing in the recent times to really warrant throwing him up higher. I used to have him, up into the A tier, really thinking he was a really solid, really good card. But as I've gone on, I think I've kind of moved him, down to the B area, which is sad, but is what it is. You got to do it sometimes. And I'm also realizing slowly how I kind of want to move these guys around as we go on. But next up, we have a Galaxy Opal Kevin Love, who again, I think just kind of fits into this middle tier, into our B tier of cards, but it's getting a little bit packed, so we're going to move up over some of these guys so that we have a little bit more room on here, because the B tier is getting a little filled up. I feel like we have a lot of power forwards that are very, stretched out between the B to C tiers, and just are almost in certain ones and almost not in other ones. So we're just going to move some of these guys over real quickly. That way, we don't take up too much time. But I feel like Kevin Love, does everything really well as a power forward, but his dribbling moves kind of are lackluster for me. But with Kevin Love, he has a really good jump shot. It's one of the jump shots, the K-Love jump shot is one that people use in Park a lot in order to do good with no quick draw, which I think should be a big sign to how good it is. So without Kevin Love in there, slowly is falling from graces for me, but still not too bad. Next up, we have a Galaxy Opal Elvin Hayes, who just really can't shoot too well. Is really just a post back to the basket guy with some decent rebounding, decent defense, no range, and we are going to throw him down and get his ass into D tier, because he just doesn't really impress me too much. Just isn't really a card that I want to have on my team, and if you get him for free, like, cool, but ain't my style. Next up, Galaxy Opal Kevin Garnett, nice and easy up into the S tier. KG is just beautiful. He's very similar to Anthony Davis in the fact that they're just really good size, like 6'10", power forwards that can just do a little bit of everything, good animations, and overall, not too bad at cards. Next up, Galaxy Opal Blake Griffin going up into the A tier. Obviously is a super solid card. Has a really nice release with that Blake Griffin jump shot, which I absolutely love. Good post game, good everything overall. And it sucks that the best version of Blake Griffin that we have is a PG small forward instead of a PG, or instead of a power forward small forward. But it is what it is. Next up, Galaxy Opal Kristaps Porzingis again into the A tier. 7'3", can do everything beautifully. You gotta love it, and you gotta throw him up there. The one thing that does hurt is when you're at the center, he gets just popped a little bit. But we're talking about him as a power forward, so it doesn't really matter. Next up, we have Galaxy Opal Dan Issel, another getting his ass into D tier card. Just really not too solid. Can't do anything. The shooting is meh, and overall, just doesn't impress me anymore. He just doesn't impress me as an overall card. So he's going to have to find his way down there. And also, I think we're going to take PJ Washington, move him down to C. I feel like he fits a little bit better with some of the guys that we got down here in C versus some of these, I feel like Al Harrington, Cliff Robinson, all these guys kind of fit pretty well in the B tier. And he just, I don't know, PJ Washington felt a little bit left out. I said, I might move him around as time goes on because it just felt like he felt a little weird throwing him down there, so we're going to throw him down to C tier. I just feel like I don't like him compared to some of the other guys that we have around. Next up, we have the Diamond Robert Covington, another, I think, A tier small forward. But for me personally, I don't ever like to run Rocco really at the 4. I don't know what it is, but I prefer Rocco as my power forward. I like 6'11" and taller power forwards. So for me, Rocco is a B tier power forward, but an S tier small forward. So I mean, not S tier, A tier small forward. Next up, we have Galaxy Opal Timmy D, who I personally have, and it sucks that he's just no longer really great. His jump shot is so slow, has no range, can't really cheese too well, and just overall is not a great card. And the same goes for Dirk Nowitzki. Jump shot's just too slow, has a great post game, really good defense inside, but on the perimeter is just awful, and he just moves like a snail. So he's gonna have to be down where he is. Next up, we have, we moved Dirk as well there. We have Pink Diamond Andre Iguodala, who I also think falls into, we have to just select one, who also moves into the C tier for me as well. With Andre Iguodala, I just feel, actually no, Andre Iguodala, I'm sorry, D tier. He's getting his ass in D tier as well, because Andre Iguodala is 6'6" at the power forward. That just does not work. That is not something I want to do, and it's not ever something that I'm gonna make myself experience. Really just not anybody that I want there. And last but not least, we have the All-Star Moments Pink Diamond Giannis Antetokounmpo, who I feel like still has potential to be up into the B tier. So we're going to throw him up there. I feel like although Giannis doesn't have range, I don't think it's that serious that he doesn't have it. I still think you can throw Giannis in, do a lot of work, have a lot of fun, and just go crazy with him no matter what. So still going to throw him in a B tier and nice him a little bit. But this is what we have for our power forwards tier list. Let me know if anybody that I missed on this list, and let me know what you guys think of it personally. Remember, some people get ranked lower because they just don't play good at this certain position, like Andre Iguodala, better as a small forward, or Dwyane Wade should just be a triple threat card, so some of them get ranked a little bit lower. Like, if you guys did enjoy, subscribe if you guys are new. We are on that road to 6.9K. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I will see y'all in the next video.